What's up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. So I've been on this spiritual awakening, or like a decluttering awakening, where I'm just so sick to death of clutter. I am sick of having too much stuff. I'm sick of just this mentality of, oh, well, I'm not using it right now, but I might use it in the future sometime, and then I never use it. I feel like the beauty space in particular has really encouraged a hoarding mentality. And I'm sure you guys have felt it too, especially in the past like 5 or 6 years when the beauty community just completely blew up. Like the industry is booming. And I think that we're almost kind of on a decline of that. Like I think that people are a lot like me, where everyone's just kind of tired of it. Everyone is tired of not being able to enjoy what they love. Like, how much do we need? So yeah, let's talk about some things I'm decluttering. And let me tell you, it's a big one. This is pretty full. If you like videos like this, we'll do more. First thing I have is this palette from Essence. This is the Welcome to London Eyeshadow palette. I would used to look at this and say, well, I can make it work. Like, it's a new product. Like, let's try it. I will not use these colors. There's no use in me even dipping into it one time or swatching it or anything, because I'll never continuously use this. Like this is not me. Speaking of eyeshadows, I'm getting rid of a bunch of ColourPop single eyeshadows. And I think there's also some Coastal Scents ones. Yep, there's a Coastal Scents one in here because I don't use these shades. There was once upon a time when I had more time on my hands. You know, I didn't have a kid. I could sit and play and have makeup therapy more often. That I would maybe dabble in some of these colors, but this isn't me now. I've evolved. Like, I don't do bold colors like this. So, you know, when I first got this out, I was like, well, that's really pretty, and I could create some really unique looks with this and get really artsy, but it's a pop dream. Speaking of discontinued, this e.l.f. cream blush that they don't even make anymore. I think they replaced these with the putty blushes, which this was such a good formula. I don't even know what the shade is. There's like no details on here at all, but this is such a nice formula and a really, really pretty shade. It worked really well on my skin, but it's as old as dirt, number one, and you can't find it anymore. So there's no point in me keeping something that I can't even talk about on camera. So yeah, I feel like whenever I put makeup on, my goal is to try things for filming and stuff. So it just doesn't make sense to keep it. Doesn't make sense to keep it, can't enunciate. Then I have this BH Cosmetics Illuminate Cream Cheek and Lip Tint. This is the Ashley Tisdale collection. Do you guys remember that? She had a collection several years ago with them. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is old. Milani Baked Blush in the shade Rose d'Oro. This is my first Milani blush, meaning that I've had this for probably 8, 9, 10 years. Ooh, this one was also a little bit too glittery for my liking. I mean, oh, it's a really pretty shade though. The girl I've been watching, But First Coffee, she was saying, don't touch it. Like, if you're trying to get rid of something, don't touch it. Like, have a friend or a family member or somebody get rid of, like, hold it up and, you know, you say, oh, you can throw that away or whatever. Because as soon as you start touching stuff or swatching it, in this case, it's like, I like it. But I'm gonna stay strong. I'm getting rid of it. Also going is the She Glam Jelly Wow Lip Oil. These are just really sticky. Like, it's really weird because it's supposed to be hydrating, but it's not. It's that goopy, sticky, like as it dries, becomes more drying kind of formula. So I don't like this one, wouldn't recommend it. I tried to give this one another shot the other day because there's a girl I watch on TikTok that raves about this and it looks really good on her, but it just doesn't on me. So this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation. And I don't know, stick foundations, like the majority of them just look really cakey and very pancakey on me. I don't know, like I didn't really like this one. The Physicians Formula Organic Wear Silk Foundation Elixir. I could see this being something that people would like if you like skin tints, but I don't like light coverage. I mean, it's a nice formula for what it is, but it is very, very liquidy, and I felt like I had to use a lot of it to get any bit of coverage on my face. Next up is the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil. I actually liked this when I used this, but I'm at a point right now with my skin where, again, I'm not using skin tints. I'm not using light coverage. It's just not my jig. I mean, I remember it being pretty good, but I had to build it up quite a bit. And to cover up what I've got to cover up right now, it would take the entire tube. The NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation. This is a really good, like, Maybelline Superstay level kind of foundation. I just never loved it. Like, I just don't like matte, and it looks a little bit too heavy on my skin. So yeah, I want full coverage, but I want it to be natural looking, and this just isn't. I've learned to accept just because everyone else likes it doesn't mean I have to. One that I gave up on a long time ago is the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I really wanted to like this because it's just like Tarte Shape Tape. It's matte, it's not suitable for under my eyes, and I mean, the coverage is really good on it, but it's so drying. Shade wise, it doesn't work for me either. Like, this is the shade Eggshell, and it's way too light. Like, I used to use really bright, stark white concealers under my eyes. No more. This is just, it's just not it. The Romand Better Than Cheek Blush, what is the shade? I think it just says number 2. I got this on Yes Style. It's just way too light. Like, it's a really nice formula, but It looks like a setting powder for under my eyes. It is very light and peachy. I mean, if you build it up, it does look better, but that's just not for my skin tone. So yeah, there's no point in keeping it. The Physicians Formula Butter Collection with Whaley Hong Yang. You can read it for yourself. This is fine. The butter blushes I never was really a big fan of. The butter bronzers, I have these in the individuals already. The highlighters are nice, but they don't last. Like the highlighters and the blushes on me just don't hold up at all. Yeah, I think it's time for it to go. The NYX Lingerie Liquid Lipstick. I am through with all my liquid lipsticks. Like, I never liked them. I hate matte, and I have very dehydrated lips to begin with, so I tried to hunt for a really good one for my lips situation, but couldn't find it. These are drying as hell. Revlon Color Stay Foundation for normal to dry skin. I'm actually getting rid of the other one too for oily skin, but these have been reformulated, number one, but I don't know why I never gravitated towards these, and everyone loves them. Like, everyone compares them to Estee Lauder Double Wear, which I also don't gravitate towards a whole lot, but I don't know, it just never really did it for me. L'Oreal Infallible Plumping Pro Gloss in the shade 609 Lucid Glow. The color of this just doesn't really show up much my lips. Like I said, I like to use lip glosses by themselves a lot, and like I want them to have enough color to where I can just wear them with some lip liner and, you know, have a little bit of something going on, but this one just isn't the right color for me. But also the feeling of it on my lips, which I just now put some on so I can kind of remind myself. I like tingly feeling lip glosses, but this is a bit much for my liking, to be honest. It has like a weird taste. Like it tastes very chemically, and it has a smell too, but mostly the taste of it's really off-putting. And it's very goopy. Like, it leaves this weird like string between my lips that happens. So yeah, I just don't like the formula. I have several Haley's Beauty products in here, and to be honest, I never really gave any of them a fair shot, but because the colors are so bad. So the first one I have is the Reset Liquid Matte Foundation. I maybe used this one time because the color, look at that. That is straight up golden hour shade. I actually have several of these Catrice Volumizing Extreme Lip Boosters in here. I've got different shades because they sent me the entire collection, and I just don't need every single one of them. There's this one, which is orange. They've got a green one, a blue one, a red one, but they all pretty much pull clear on my lips, so there's no point in keeping them all. Yeah, I put that L'Oreal Infallible Pro Gloss on, and my lips are like, it just so nasty, sticking together. That is awful formula. e.l.f. Original Camo Concealer. Again, just like Tarte Shape Tape, just like that L'Oreal Infallible Concealer, is so drying and matte. And then I have the She Glam Stick Blush. This is the, what's this called? It's like glowing up skin stick or something like that. This is the shade Next Dimension. Their stick products are very dry, very stiff, hard to blend out, hard to work with. I just don't really like the formula. I also have the contour shade in here too, I think. Yeah, contour slash bronzer. Again, this is the glowing up skin stick, I think is what it's called. Really cheap, but it's just really hard to blend out. Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Concealer. I'm mainly getting rid of this because the shade is just way too light. Once again, I'm way past that stage of liking a really bright under eye. So yeah, I remember the formula being really good. I talked about this in one of my like best concealers at the drugstore video a while back, and I think I ranked this pretty high, but yeah, just bad color. Speaking of Makeup Revolution, I have the Pore Perfecting Primer, which I may have used one time. I dipped my finger into it, looks like, and you know, everyone likes these pore filling primers, like the Tarte Smoothing Primer and the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer and stuff, and that's what it's trying to be. I don't think it works as well as the e.l.f. one. Like, I just don't use pore filling primers. I've got large Mama Jamma pores, like very moon crater-esque, but I just don't care to fill them in. I really don't. Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper in the shade Candy Pop. I think this was a holiday lip gloss like a couple of years ago, and again, it's not available, and I don't use red lip glosses. Becca Luminous Blush in the shade Snapdragon. It's a really pretty shade, but Becca is no more, and it's also really pigmented, like too pigmented, so it needs to be a little more sheer. I guess it doesn't need to be because it's gone, so oh well. The Maybelline Cheek Heat blushes, I really don't like these. I've seen a couple of people rave about them and say they're one of the best cream blushes at the drugstore. I would have to disagree. They're just way too sheer, I mean, they are like a gel, but they look like water on the skin, and there's just not enough color and pay off with them. So yeah, no point. Jason Wu Tinted Moisturizer and CC Cream. It was way too oily, very glowy, very dewy. So if you have super dry or mature skin, you might like it. Not a lot of coverage, but it just made me look like a freaking grease ball. Like, I looked like I could seriously grease a semi-truck. So yeah, for me, did work. The Kokie Cosmetics liquid highlighter in the shade Superstar. This is just not my color. It's just a typical liquid highlighter. It's a nice formula. It's got like a little medicine dropper kind of thing. It's not horrible. Like, it's got a pretty sheen and whatnot to it, but it's just way too light for my skin. The Physicians Formula Organic Wear Dewy Blush Elixir. This is in the shade, what's the shade? Gorgeous Peach. This is really pretty. Like, it's really hard to find liquid blushes at the drugstore, I feel like. Like, I feel like everything's cream, but this is just, it's so dewy that it doesn't last on my skin. Like, it just breaks down and melts. If you have really dry or mature skin, like I said before, then you might like this, but for me, it just, no staying power whatsoever. It's a really pretty shade though. I'm having declutter remorse. Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara. This is a little bit newer. I think it came out last year, but this one has a like curve. Like, it's a little bit different. The formula of this sucks. It does nothing for me. Like, it didn't build up anything. L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Concealer. I think they discontinued these, and plus the shade range sucked ass. This is like the second lightest shade and it's pretty dark. I made it work, but it just wasn't spectacular. There wasn't any wow factor. Another Hailey's Beauty product. This is the hydrating foundation. So they had the matte one and the hydrating one. I never even used this. Like, I couldn't even tell you if it, well, I can tell you that the shade sucks. I got the same shade in both of them, and they're that weird dark peachy yellow kind of shade, so couldn't even get to try it. Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. I don't ever need to mattify. I've seen people that have really oily skin say they love this, but yeah, there's no point in me using a mattifying primer when I don't like matte. The Essence Juicy Balm. I actually think I have a couple of different shades in here. This is the light pink one. This is the shade Pink Lemonade. It doesn't really show up on my lips. It's just too pale. The ColourPop Cheek Dew Serum Blushes. This is a really cool concept, like a serum blush. And the girlies I saw talking about this initially that made me buy it, it looked beautiful on them. Like, it gave them glass skin, very juicy, very just oozing. Ooh, that's a really weird word for that. Their cheeks were oozing with glow. But for me, they're just way too sheer. Like, they sheer out too easily. Like, they don't stick and adhere. And then they turn into like almost nothingness. So if you like that very like natural, a lot amount of blush kind of thing, then they may work for you. But I also feel like there's an inconsistency within the shades, because there's some that are more pigmented and work better than others. This is in the shade Hotline, and this is supposed to be one of the ones that works better. But look, it's so, like, it dissipates into almost nothingness, and I'm just not looking for that. Another liquid lipstick. This is the Kokie Lip Powder. It's lip powder. I will say that one was actually a pretty good formula though for what it is, but I still don't like matte. The Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit High Shine Lipstick. I don't use super brown nudie lips like this anymore, and plus I don't really like the formula. I mean, the shade, like back in the day, this was all I wanted to use, but it just doesn't really flatter my teeth or my skin tone. It's just a little bit too brown and a little bit sticky, might I add. ColourPop, the label is off of these. This is the little like the lip tints, or like the crayon tints, or whatever they were called. This is in the shade Shaka. I'm gonna take this off just to remind myself of why I don't like this one, because I never used it. Like, it was just too sheer. Actually, would I use this more now because I do like more sheer glossy things? Actually, from what I remember, this has horrible, like, shit staying power. L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. Don't like matte. This was too drying. It looks very cakey. It sinks into my creases. It settles. It makes me look older than what I am. Yeah, no. Maybelline Superstay Stick Foundation. I don't know if they even make these anymore, but again, stick foundations for me, they tend to be more dry, more matte, very cakey, just, you know, emphasizes lines and pores and just doesn't wear very well. So yeah. The EX1 Invisiwear Foundation. I actually did an entire video about this a long time ago. It was like, I read somewhere that this is the foundation that Britney Spears' makeup artist used on her at one point in time, which I don't know if you want to use what Britney Spears' makeup artist within the past decade was putting on her, because her makeup has looked like shit. I'm just going to say her makeup looked like shit for a long period of time. They were sabotaging her right down to the makeup products. This whole brand kind of catered to people with more of an olive skin tone, which is really hard to find olive undertone products, like face products out there. So yeah, if you have an olive skin tone, check them out. Like, it's not a bad foundation, but I don't know. It was just kind of harder to get your hands on. Like, I didn't really feel like it was accessible enough for me to talk about it a lot. So yeah, this just didn't really make the cut. Next, this is everything lip oil. I don't like lip oils. They're sticky, they're goopy, they aren't as hydrating as they should be, I feel like. I'd rather use a lip gloss. The Urban Decay Wild Lash Mascara, they sent this to me a while back, and it just wasn't very buildable. Didn't do anything for me. Yeah, it just wouldn't build volume, length, thickness, nothing like that. The wand is pretty nice on it though. Like, it's a nice like curved wand, but it also has like a flatness to it on the inside, so it's unique, but just didn't really do anything. I got a lot of lip products in here. This is the e.l.f. tinted lip oil. Once again, not a fan of lip oils, and this one just wasn't anything special. The Makeup Revolution liquid highlighter drops. This is a really pretty shade and a really nice formula, but let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like. So it was supposed to be duping the Cover FX ones back in the day. Do they even still make those? I don't think they do. But yeah, this is the shade Champagne. Is that what it's called? Yeah, liquid champagne, which is really pretty, very sheeny, but this is an old formula. Like, I've had this way too long, and I've got other products in my collection that work just as well, if not better, and they're not old. e.l.f. Bite Size Quad in the shade Truffles. One of the shades broke, so yeah. I also just don't really use this shade range very much. I mean, I like the black and the brown in here, but I've got that in other palettes, so I don't have to pull this out specifically for those. I don't know, it's just meh. The Catrice Ultimate Stay Water Fresh Lip Tint. This was way too watery, no pigmentation whatsoever, and I just decided to get rid of this today. Like, I tried to use this earlier, and I was just like, you know what? I don't like this. I've tried to like it. People say that I should like it. Like, people rave about this, but I don't. This is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade Sunlight. It looks like a nice, like, slightly cool tone bronzer. Like, you could use it as a bronzer or contour, depending on your skin tone. But it just doesn't show up on my skin, or it takes too long for it to show up. Like, I just don't want to sit there and build up a bronzer for 5 minutes. Like, that's just a complete waste of time for me. And, I mean, I've got way better in my collection. Like, it's not the best. The Rimmel Stay Glossy Lip Glosses. These are nice, but they're not amazing. They're kind of sticky over time, and there's better. The Kokie Cosmetics Crystal Fusion Liquid Eyeshadow. These are supposed to be duping these Stila liquid eyeshadows. Like, there's a lot of people that say that these are exact dupes, but I disagree, because these completely melt down on me. Like, they melt and they fade and they crease, like, not even in a matter of hours, like a matter of minutes. The shades are beautiful. Like, they really are doing something with the shades. Like, I mean, look how pigmented and smooth and just really, really finely milled the shimmer is. Like, it looks like a high-end product. So if you can try to make this work, go for it, because I mean, it really is, like, the potential is there, but I guess my eyelids are abnormally oily. I don't know. The Maybelline Matte Lipstick in the shade Nude Embrace. I used to love this. Like, I didn't care to wear this even though it was kind of drying. Like, it was a really pretty shade. It paired well under lip glosses. Like, it held up pretty well, but it's old, and I don't use nude shades like this, especially like brown undertone nudes like this. Like, I just like to keep it minimal. Lip gloss, lip liner, that's it. I have another ColourPop that's what it's called, Just a Tint lip crayons or something like that. Was this shade Big Time? Let's see what this one looks like. This one was barely used, so I definitely didn't like these. Oh, the shade is so pretty at first. I don't even know if these are still available, but this is a really trendy kind of product right now. Like, it's that, you know, lip gloss, you know, sheer kind of color on your lips, but again, they don't wear very well. I have another Essence Juicy Bomb Shiny Lip Gloss. This is in the shade Sweet Peach. A nice formula. Again, it's nice and like hydrating and moisturizing, but I don't really need it. We got a visitor who's going to participate in filming today, so just ignore it. Next thing, I've got a lot of lip products in here. Jeez Louise. The NYX Filler Instinct Plumping Lip Color in the shade Beach Casual. Can you believe it? I don't use a lot of nude shades anymore. Like, I like something that has a little bit of color to it. I mean, this is a nice, like glossy kind of lip color formula. Like, it looks so pretty on my hand. But on the lips, it just doesn't really show up unless I layer it 152 times, so I'm just gonna say it's a go. Then I have the Catrice Prisma Lip Glaze Holographic Lip Gloss in the shade Princess Peach. I don't use holographic. I don't use holographic lip colors. Like, this isn't me. Then I have the e.l.f. Lip Stain. What is it? This is the newest lip stain they have. This is in the shade Pinkies Up. Shade was way too light. Like, it didn't really show up, and also it didn't last. Like, it's so sheer and just watery that it doesn't leave any kind of stain behind. So I've seen people rave about this and love it, but I don't get it. Pokey Lip Veneer Cream Glosses. I've gotten rid of so many of these, not because they're bad, but they're not wow factor for me. Like they don't hold up long enough. They're not glossy enough. They don't give a tingle, which is what I prefer in lip glosses. Got another Essence Juicy Bomb Lip Gloss. This is too brown for me. Milani Amore Matte Metallic Lip Cream in the shade The Ultimate. I literally only kept this because there were some holidays, like Christmases, where I would use liquid lipsticks like this, like colorful ones that, you know, you can't really find eyeliners in this shade as eyeliner. But I don't see myself doing that anymore. So, and plus it's old, so it needs to go. Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Liquid Lipstick. This is in the shade Gimme Mocha. Too dark. This is way too dark for my liking now. Like I do not use shades like this now. But also, again, it's matte. It's a liquid lipstick. They all suck. The L'Oreal Skin Paradise Water Infused Tinted Moisturizer out of the shade Fair. L'Oreal's biggest downfall for me is their shade range usually sucks, especially in the lighter shades. I don't know how the deeper shades run undertone wise, but their lighter shades and a lot of their foundations, especially their like light coverage tints and stuff like this, is they either run too dark or too orange. And this one for me, this shade and the light shade I tried too, were both too orange and too dark. So I could see the effect being nice, like it just kind of got overshadowed by the wrong color though. So yeah, I'm not gonna make things work if they don't. I'm not gonna go out of my way to do it. The NYX Slip Tease Liquid Lip Colors, I think that's what it's called. The font's rubbed off, but this is the shade Let's Get Physical. I don't think they make these anymore. I used to lobby for this to have more shades. Like I wanted this in every shade of nude possible. Amazing formula. Like this, in my opinion, is what liquid lipstick should have been from the beginning. Glossy, full opacity, and long wearing. Like this was killer, but I mean, they discontinued them. Let me go ahead and put some on. And also, look at that. Super, super pigmented. Just a little bit too peachy and brown for my liking now. Like I just need a little more color in my lips. Plus it's gone. Like it's discontinued. They did what I thought they were gonna do. You were so cute. I don't even know if they still make these, but I kept this solely because I used it as liquid eyeliner during Christmas sometimes. Excuse me. You're doing good. God, you really stay in the lines. That's awesome. You did good, baby. Hopefully you won't scratch me. You like them? Like a taupe. Like a bronzy taupe. Yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit of green on my eyes. I put like a green eyeshadow right here, my eyelashes right here. Like green to match my shirt. What do you think? You like it? There's orange on there and yellow, but I put some green eyeliner on my eye to make it look kind of matchy. Matchy. See? You're matchy because you got pink lip gloss on and a pink shirt. So you're matchy. You're matchy.
I am matchy?
So that is it. So that is it for this massive declutter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, if you want to see more like this, and give this video a big old thumbs up. Here's a couple more things for you. Here's a couple more things for you to check out next. Just venture around the channel, make yourself at home. Subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.